Namaste, I am your host Madhu and welcome to Hashbyte, a project that's through digital jargon to show you what's really happening with your data. And today we are talking about something that might sound familiar if you've followed Karnataka's environmental issues, but this time it's happening in your phone. You know how sand mafia operations quietly strip our riverbeds bare while authorities look the other way? Well, there's a digital version happening right now, and the riverbed being stripped is your personal life. Every time you download an app, accept those terms and conditions without reading them, or click allow on permissions, you're essentially letting data miners into your digital space. Just like how sand thieves work under cover of darkness, data brokers operate in the shadows of privacy policies and user agreements that nobody reads. Let me paint you a picture. Remember the famous mining scandal happened in Karnataka? Tons of iron ore shipped out while locals got nothing but polluted air and water. Now imagine your phone is mining land, and instead of iron ore, it's your contacts, your location data, your browsing habits, even your sleeping patterns from that fitness app. Here's how it works. You download a simple flashlight app. Seems innocent, right? But buried in those permissions, you quickly tapped accept on. That app now has access to your camera, microphone, contacts, and location. Why does a flashlight need to know where you are at 2 a.m.? It doesn't. But that information is valuable. A data broker, think of them as the digital equivalent of illegal sand dealers, will pay good money for a profile that says lives in Koramangala, works late hours, frequently visits Kabban Park, has 247 contacts including people from IT companies. Suddenly, you're not just a person using a flashlight app. You're a demographic, a target, a product. The scariest part? This isn't happening to a few people. It's happening to millions every single day. Your data gets bundled with thousands of others and sold to anyone willing to pay. Insurance companies, political parties, marketers, sometimes even scammers.
Before we talk solutions, let's understand the players in this game. Think of your phone as your house and every app as a person you're inviting in.
APIs.
These are like waiters in a restaurant. APIs, when you use Swiggy, their app doesn't cook your food. Instead, it sends an API, a waiter, to the restaurant system to place your order. But here's the catch. That waiter also notes what you order, when you order it, where you live, and how much you spend. All that information gets stored and potentially sold. Cookies are like sticky notes that websites put on your phone to remember you. Imagine if every shop in Commercial Street put a tiny tracking device on you that remembered which stores you visited, what you looked at, and how long you stayed. That's essentially what cookies do, but digitally. Now here's where it gets interesting. Remember how sand mining operations needed local contacts? People who knew the system, could get permits, could move material without getting caught. Data brokers have their own local contacts, legitimate looking apps and websites that collect information on their behalf. That free VPN you downloaded, that personality test your friend shared on WhatsApp, that scan QR code for discount at your local restaurant, each one is potentially a collection point, gathering pieces of your digital life. So what if they know I like dosa and work in Whitefield? But let's talk about real consequences. Last year, a friend of mine, let's call her Priya, started getting calls from insurance agents right after she downloaded a period tracking app. Coincidence? Hardly. The app had partnerships with health service providers. Suddenly, Priya's most private information was being used to sell her insurance policies.
Another example would be, let's say, a Bangalore residents who used certain traffic apps found themselves targeted with political ads during election season, specifically crafted based on their daily routes and the neighborhoods they visited.
But here's the really insidious part. This data doesn't just disappear. It creates a permanent profile. That experimental phase where you browsed alternative medicine websites, that impulsive online shopping spree during lockdown, that time you search for relationship advice at 3 a.m., it's all there, being packaged and sold. Your digital twin, built from thousands of these small data points, might know you better than your family does.
And unlike your family, your digital twin is for sale to the highest bidder.
Now, for the good news, you're not powerless. Just like how environmental activists found ways to combat illegal mining, there are practical ways to protect your digital resources. First, treat app permissions like house keys. Would you give your house key to every person who knocks on your door? Then why give your photo gallery access to a food delivery app? Go to your phone settings right now. I'll wait. And look at app permissions. You'd be shocked. That game you downloaded last month probably has access to your contacts and location. Revoke it. That social media app doesn't need access to your microphone when you're not using it. Second, use burner numbers and email addresses. Just like how you wouldn't give your home address to every website, don't give your primary phone number to every app. Create a separate email for app downloads and promotions. Use services like Google Voice for a secondary number. Third, install a call blocker. This is your digital security guard. Apps like Truecaller, ironically one that also collects data, so use carefully, can help identify and block spam calls that result from your data being sold. Here's a simple test. If you're getting spam calls or messages about products you've never expressed interest in, your data has been compromised and sold. Let's get tactical. This week, I want you to do 3 things. Audit your apps. Delete anything you haven't used in the past month. For the apps you keep, go through their permissions one by one. Ask yourself, does this app really need this access to function? Check your browser settings. Clear your cookies regularly or set your browser to do it automatically. Use private browsing mode for sensitive searches. Consider switching to browsers like Brave or Firefox that prioritize privacy. Read before you agree. I know, those terms and conditions are longer than a Rajinikanth movie. But at least skim them. Look for phrases like share with third parties or use for marketing purposes. Here's a pro tip from someone who's been covering tech for years. If a service is free and too good to be true, you're probably the product being sold. That free photo storage, that free email service, that free social media platform, they're all making money somehow. And often, it's by selling access to you.
This isn't just about personal privacy, it's about digital autonomy. Just like how environmental activists fought sand mining to protect Karnataka's rivers for future generations, we need to protect our digital environment for ourselves and our families. Think about it. Your data doesn't just affect you. When you give an app access to your contacts, you're potentially compromising your friends' and family's privacy too. When you share location data, you're revealing patterns about your children's school, your spouse's workplace, your elderly parents' medical appointments. The good news is that awareness is growing. New privacy laws are being implemented both globally and in India. The Digital Personal Data Protection Act is a step in the right direction. But laws can only do so much. The real power lies in individual awareness and action.
Before we wrap up, I want to address something I hear a lot. I have nothing to hide, so why should I care about privacy? Privacy isn't about hiding wrongdoing. It's about maintaining control over your own narrative. It's about ensuring that your digital self represents who you are, not who data brokers think you are based on incomplete information. Remember, every small action counts. Every permission you revoke, every unnecessary app you delete, every time you choose privacy-conscious alternatives, you're taking back control of your digital riverbed. Your data is valuable. Don't let it be strip mined for free. That's all for today's episode of Hashbyte. If this episode opened your eyes to something new, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, in the digital world, you're not powerless. You just need to know where the controls are. Next week, we'll be diving into something even more sinister: digital honey traps. How fake apps, too good to be true offers, and romance scams are being used to harvest personal data and extort people. Let's break down the psychology behind these traps and give you the red flags to watch for. Until then, keep your data close and your permissions closer. This is your host Madhu, signing off.